Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, ladies and gentlemen, on this after Halloween day here on the Solo Experience. Hope everybody had a wonderful and safe Halloween. Ate far too much candy. I tried to avoid the candy, but I ate far too much chili. So I ate far too much of something, and then I ate far too many cinnamon rolls. They were little cinnamon rolls. So you look at them and go, man, they're little. They aren't going to do anything. And before you know it, you're eating 10 or 15 of them, and it's a serious problem because they weren't big at the beginning, but when you put them all together, then they're a decent problem. So hope everybody had a great Halloween. It is the post Halloween, whatever that day is. Don't know. Uh, Hopefully, you had a good one. What kind of system do you have? What does that mean? What kind of system do you have? There are many kinds of systems. AV system, house system, security system, some type of system. I watched two movies. I watched Prey, which we won't talk about until I get with Jonathan, and I watched Appleseed. So let's talk about Appleseed. Appleseed was bad. The 925 AV podcast. I had things to do. I was late. I, you know, yeah, I had things to do. It's 7 a.m. for me, so I'm really not wasting any of my day yet. Well, that's the way to do it, is wasting your day. Because then when you waste your day, then it feels good in the moment. And then after you waste your day, you look back and be like, man, I wasted my day. I'm not going to do that again. And then tomorrow rolls around and you do the exact same thing. Isn't that human nature? So I watched Appleseed. Appleseed was bad. It was very bad. Like, I like anime a lot. There's a lot of really good anime that I've watched. The best recent one was Solo Leveling. I won't say that Solo Leveling was the best of all time, but it was good. I enjoyed it. Appleseed, no. If it was a series, I would have stopped watching it. But since it was a movie, I plowed through it and made it to the end. The story, it wasn't very continuative. It just kind of went, and I don't know. It wasn't very good. I didn't like that the cyborg, the main character, I don't even remember his name, didn't have a mouth that moved, but his voice was way too human to not have a mouth moving. So that was a problem. The gunplay was weird. It was just, the sound was kind of bizarre. Yeah, not good. Not my favorite. Not good. So definitely won't be watching that again. Watched Prey, like I said, but we're not going to talk about that until I stream with Jonathan. I had enjoyed Prey. I knew I would like Prey because I'd seen it before. So glad that happened. I'm excited for Predator Badlands, though I really hope it doesn't suck. It could suck. I really hope it doesn't suck because the latest Predator movies, I'll have to go back and rewatch them, were also not very good. So I hope it doesn't suck. I'm hopeful. Hopeful. Yes. Sales. So the Ascendos sold. Those are gone. Sold a Studio Storm Audio ISP 16 Elite. One of those is gone. I got one left. People are talking about one of the Epsons. So if you're into the Epson, pull the trigger quicker than later because they'll be gone. And then sales. So there was a big one that came through yesterday. I really need to do that spreadsheet, which I will do today. So Martin Logan announced the Grotto. Not the Grotto, the Depth. So the Depth is now available for Martin Logan. It's a dual pose 12 and 15, which the 15 has a 4,400 watt amplifier peak. That's a lot. And if it's actually using that, I want to see some measurements. That could be big. It's an expensive sub, but that's a lot. That's a big change for Martin Logan. So I'm hopeful that that's going to be a solid sub. So they got a 212 and a 215, which They're very similar to the balance force, but this is depth, and they look really cool. So I'm excited about that. As far as sales, they effectively have everything with the exception of the masterpiece lines on sale. So XT, Motion XT, and Motion are 20% off. Dynamo and Abyss are 20% off. Motion Foundation and Dynamo Foundation are 25% off. Motion Compact is 20% off. Helios, the 12-inch in ceilings, if you guys need distributed audio, are 55% off. So if you're looking for a big in ceiling that's not very expensive, Helios is a good one. I think they're just trying to get through stock on that. And then there is a foundation and Weem bundle. So you've got foundation speakers. It's the B1 with the Weem streamer amp, which is 25% off. So if you guys are looking for something like that, let me know. But it's going to happen after this stream. I'm going to do the spreadsheet. I'm going to put it on that ready to ship, that sales part of the website, and we can update it. So again, if you'd like to provide information or post on there and you're regular, send me a message, preferably on AVS, or if you've got my phone number, send it to my email. You can scan that code, or I guess I could do that. So captions, you guys can do this. You can email there if you guys would like to post. If you see sales on the spreadsheet, I can add you and you can post. But let's bring the chat up. In reference to your cinnamon rolls, I can eat one donut only, but can eat 30 donut holes. It's one of the mysteries of life. Yes, because you don't feel like you're overcommitting. They're so small, right? It's like eating an M&M. You can't just eat one M&M. You're eating an entire bag, and you want to eat more than the stupid little bags that they put the M&Ms in. That's not enough. I could eat one Butterfinger, but you give me a big bag of Butterfinger BBs, and I'm going to keep eating them. I don't know what it is. As Drew says, it's a mystery of life. And the cinnamon rolls, I'm not used to small cinnamon rolls. I love cinnamon rolls. Cinnamon rolls are a weakness of mine. I love cinnamon rolls. So good. These were baby cinnamon rolls, and they were really good, but they were little, so they were dangerous because your mind said, hey, that's not very big, but they added up to something big, and they added up to a large problem for me this morning, which is why I was late. Paul Travesino says, does Martin Logan provide any detailed measurement for their speakers? No. Most manufacturers do not. So the entire Paradigm family, so you've got Martin Logan and really Paradigm and Anthem, they don't provide anything. Sticky buns? No. Jared, no. Get out of here. Get out of here. Cinnamon rolls are in a different league than sticky buns. It's just not the same thing. And I will say Cinnabon, terrible. Disgrace to cinnamon rolls. They smell good. They don't taste good. They taste artificial, and I don't like them. Don't like them at all. You got to have a quality cinnamon roll. And these were quality cinnamon rolls. Does anyone know the phase dial on the subwoofer is centered at a certain frequency, or does it just move all the phase in time across all its frequencies played? I think the later. It adjusts. You're effectively on the dial, you're adjusting delay on the subwoofer. So it's going to add delay to whatever comes into it or subtract it. Like 0 is 0 delay, and then you add it, and then it's changing the position of the driver because you've added delay to start. I need to get rid of that caption because nobody wants this to turn into a sales stream. Me especially. So if you don't have the ability to delay subs individually, it is in a lot of essence good to use that phase dial to adjust. Like if you're splitting sub outs, if you have an RCA or XLR splitter and you're splitting, phase dial, very important because you can apply individual delay and the processor can't because the processor is not going to see them as individual subs. Don't sleep on that phase dial. It's important and should be used. Should be used. All right, let's just work on this spreadsheet because you guys don't have very many questions. So if you guys have questions, I'm open to questions, but you don't have very many questions today. So let's actually work on this spreadsheet. So if you guys know of any sales that are going on, I need the link, ideally. And I need, let's see. Where is this? That is not this one. I think it's this one. Yeah, that isn't. Yeah. Okay. So if anybody has any idea on sales, I am open and I'm adding them right now. So we're going to take this one. We need to add this into Martin Logan. So I can actually share my screen here. Window, this one, share. There you go. I don't know if you guys can see that because it is pretty small, but you guys can get an idea. So we need to add a sheet here, insert one row below. We'll copy that, copy this. So this is going to be motion, which that, and this is 20% off MSRP. I know this isn't very exciting, but I think it's good for the community. Insert row above, copy that, copy that. And this is going to be motion XT, which is promotions, 20% off. And then is Abyss. No. All right. So one below, Martin Logan, this one. And this is going to be Dynamo. I think that's what it was. Let's see. Martin Logan. Okay, Happy Bullets. We're not doing Mountain Dew. I am out of the Mountain Dew phase of my life, unfortunately. I loved Mountain Dew. It would just wreck my stomach right now. Dynamo and Abyss. Isn't it amazing? It brings up an interesting topic. How expensive soda has gotten. Soda has gotten so expensive. And if you think soda is pop, you are just wrong. Nothing can compete with French pancakes. Get out of here. And you thinking that everything French is superior. That's not true. No, crepes. Not a fan of crepes. So let's stop sharing that. Because I've added the things that you guys have talked about. Nobody's given me any more suggestions except Happy Bullets, who says you can get 3 12-packs of Mountain Dew for $10.80. Yeah. Mountain Dew and Doritos are fantastic. Cool Ranch Doritos especially. And you could Mountain Dew Zero is really solid. If I go to Taco Bell, I'm getting Mountain Dew Zero. It's probably really bad for you because I think it's banned in Mountain Dew's banned in a lot of Europe. But if I'm going to die full of Mountain Dew. That's probably not great. I don't drink it anymore, but it's crazy expensive now. Yeah, soda is stupid expensive, and I don't know why. I think they just realized during COVID that they could get away with charging more, and they did. You go into a grocery store, like Price Chopper or Hy-Vee, which are local ones here, and regular price for a 12-pack is like $9. And it goes on sale for $4, but $9 is insanity. Insanity. Who is paying $9 for a 12-pack of soda? I've seen it more than that. That's gross. And I guess they do that because some schmuck is going to buy that, and then it makes it feel like it's on more sale when it does go on sale. Where can I find the screen distance viewing chart from seat to screen for 2K and 4K? Eureka, ignore all of that. Just take it and go and throw that out the window because it doesn't matter. If you're talking, okay, maybe it matters if you're just talking with resolution. Does anybody chat have a... Ryan has a question? I don't see Ryan have a question. Who's Ryan? Ryan does not have a question. Oh, that Ryan. Ryan does have a question. Any suggestions for art and storm tutorials? No, I don't have a good one for that. I would check out the Dirac thread on AVS forum. That's where I would start. I would imagine there's going to be some tutorials linked in there. My biggest suggestion for things like this is going to be just play with it. You can always restart. You're not going to break anything. Just play with it. Gain an understanding of what it's doing. I find that following a tutorial while being fine doesn't really teach you much. You're just following what somebody else did. World War Food is open? No, you're just wrong. It's not pop, Bruce. No, it's soda. And pop is dying. And just like I said with Thibble, anybody that says it's pop is wrong. Soda's the only right way. I'm talking far as screen sides. I don't know what you mean. You mean like how far away the screen sides are from you? Screen size. Well, screen size is going to depend on your seating distance. Let's see if we can find something here. Google Foo. Sure. Let's see. I'm trying to find something here. Looking. So 720p, 4K. I don't understand this chart. This chart does not make sense to me. Not a good chart. Is this a good chart? No, that's a bad chart. Okay. Let's change this. So that doesn't really give me anything either. Doesn't give me resolution. It just gives me screen size. I don't think I'd really worry about it, Erica. As long as you're not on top of it and the screen is not enormous, your ability to be able to discern is going to be difficult. What display do you have? I should have asked that at the beginning, but I'm a boob and didn't ask you that. What display do you have? I think I blew some near fields messing with arc calibration. Well, how did you do that? They should turn down if they're that close to the microphone. How did you do that? How does one blow up near fields? I mean, I guess Jonathan did when he was trying, like baby near fields, and he was trying to keep up with the main subs. So if they're little, I could see that happening. Were they what were the near fields? A year ago, he's going to pull the trigger on Arendelle 1723 V2s or TVs. Then they started price increases. It went from just over 2,000 to 3,400 today. It's not worth that. What's a good alternative? 1723 2V. Christian Kenzichi. I know you're a regular. Where are you located? Arendelle. I got to see what these are. 1723 TVs. Okay, so subs. And they're not the V2, they're the TV. He was right. I'm just an idiot. If you haven't figured out yet, I'm very self-deprecating. I like to give myself a hard time when I do something stupid. Okay. So 1723 TV, 2V, not TV, 2V, $3,400. I guess it depends on what you're after. So what you're after, what the demands of the subwoofer are. That is pretty good. If that CEA 2010s are accurate. So, Christian, let us know what you're trying to get out of it. I was drawn to it because it didn't look obnoxious. So, aesthetic is important, and that's okay. Hoping to find presentable alternative. And Thibault, near field speakers and sub needs to be out of support with Dirac. Yes, that is very true. Do not allow them to support. I wouldn't even present near field speakers and subs to Dirac. I would put them on zone 2. I would put them on like a mini DSP. I would not present them to Dirac. It's just going to lead to problems. Oh. Yeah, that's going to create problems. That will be a problem. So, Erica, going back, is it Eureka or Erica? Correct me, please. So he is saying, I'm looking at going 170 scope screen, but my wife claims we sit too close to the screen right now. 140 scope sitting 9 feet away. Oh, that's a big screen. What projector do you have? Let me put that into a calculator. We'll come back to the Arundel question, Christian. I need more information outside of the aesthetic on what you're trying to do. So let's look at screen calculator here. So if you did scope 235, Erica, are the numbers you gave, are those diagonal or are they wide? I'm going to assume they're diagonal. So if we did a 170 diagonal, it's 156-inch width. So that's bigger than my screen. My screen's like 145, I think. 145. No, maybe it's 150. It's like a 150. So yours is wider than mine. That's really big. 140. So if you have a 140 right now, it's a 128 from 9 feet. That's pretty good. Ooh. I need to know what display it is. I'm glad you've got a Stewart G4. That Studio Tech 1.3. That's good. Going back to Christian while we wait on Erica. On a side note, Arundel's PR team is horrible. Last year, they were like, for a BF sale, we promised not to increase prices and proceeded to increase prices a couple months later. Yeah. So on the Arundels, how much, Christian, where are you located? I don't remember. Are you in the US? Arundel, how much is this now? How much is this sub? Buy. $3,400. I mean, that's a lot of performance for that price. Yeah, you're looking for powerful that will not look like an eyesore. That's hard because a lot of what you're paying for in this is the finish. And Arundel, if those stats are true, actually brings a lot to the table. That's quite the capability for that price point. Let me go back here. Let me pull up that information again. So I'm looking at the CEA 2010 data. So let's pull this up. Window here. Let's close that. So here is the Arundel CA 2010. And then let's look at, I mean, this has changed a little bit, but let's look at database and let's look at systems. And what does the RS1 do? So it's going to be a little bit better now than it was. Where is the RS1? Do they have an RS1? They don't have an RS1. There's no RS1. There's an S2, which is the RS2, old RS2, which has changed a bit. But your RS2, 10 hertz is 97.3. This says 100.3. Oh. Okay. So RMS. But you'd really go by peak. 100. What's it? 50 at 120. 50. Okay, so this thing's like 7 dB higher. But it's not an 18. What size driver is this? I don't know what the size of this driver is. Is it a dual 13.8s? Hmm. What does Per Listen have? Their new R series. Or A series or something. Subwoofer. So there's the R18, there's the R12. All right, so let's look at the R15 here. I was waiting for it to load like a boob. Data sheet. This is probably going to be very similar. Yeah, there's no CEA 2010 data. There's no compression data here to know where. Does Audioholics have anything on the R18? No. They do not. I don't really know of a good alternative for that, Christian. Unfortunately, I don't know for that price point something that looks aesthetic. If you're really chasing capability, it gets really hard. I mean, Martin Logan's got some mid-bass monsters. If the Dynamo 1600, is that thing even still available? Can I get that? Let me see if I can get it. Because they discontinued it, but sometimes they still have stuff available later. So let's see. Let me see if it's still available. It is a mid-bass monster. It's not going to dig super low, but it's quite capable. Dynamo series. Let's see. And it's not absorbently expensive. They do have some. So if you want something that's quite capable, look at the Audioholics review. Let's just bring it up. So Audioholic, Martin Logan, Dynamo 1600X. Audioholics. Okay. So where's the compression data? For the price, this thing's a mid-bass monster. So it's going to be able to keep up with, in the mid-bass, it'll lose it down low, but in the mid-bass, it'll keep up with that Arundel. So now let's look at what the Arundel's got. Did I keep that up here? So the Arundel frequency, CA 2010, 50 hertz is 120. 50 hertz is 118. You're just going to lose it down low. 20 hertz, 96.4. 110. So down low, you're going to lose it. Now, I don't know. Is he doing RM? No, it's burst. So this is peak. So you lose it down low, but it's significantly cheaper, Christian. And it's probably significantly smaller. So you're compromised. You're compromising performance for price point. Absolutely. But the mid bass, which is frankly where most of the bass is. I mean, most of your bass is going to be between 30 and 100 hertz, 120, 100, like you're above 30 hertz. If I can show in a spectrograph in the room where a lot of the bass is, and it's typically above 30 hertz, there's not a lot of stuff going down below that. So if you're trying to draw a compromise, I would get something like this. And I think for the price point, the Dynamo 1600, and now you could also look at the Abyss in the Grotto. I don't know how they stack up price point wise, but this would be a good compromise potentially. Brings a lot and it looks good. And for the size, it's not for the size of driver, it's not all that big. Read the review on it. It's on Audioholics, the Dynamo 1600X, and all of their subs. Martin Logan does a good job. So if that's something that would potentially be an option for you, I also think they're on sale. We talked about the sales earlier. I'm pretty sure that 20% off would apply to this. Let me look. Does this apply? Add to cart. Let's see. It applied something. That's not it. What was that sale? I swear that said Dynamo. On Dynamo. Oh, because the sale hasn't started yet. Yeah, it has. No, it hasn't. It starts tomorrow. That's why I'm not seeing. I'm like, what is happening? The sale starts tomorrow. So, yeah, you could also get 20% off that. That's a great deal for low end bass. If anybody's looking for subs and you want mid bass monsters, the MSRP on the Dynamo 1600X is $2,000, and then it's 20% off of that. So it's pretty good for what you're getting for the price point for something that has ARC capability. We could sell you an ARC kit, and that's pretty good for the price. It's pretty good. I'd look into that. You should look into that. It's probably what I would do if that's what you're looking for. Says he's in Nashville. Oh, I already said that. Van Williams. Hey, Ryan, when we tune my system, we tune the 24 and 415s with DSP. Should I take the 24 near field, which is on main listening position, off the DSP and switch it to sub out 2 with the transducers? Yes. Yes, yes. Don't calibrate the near fields, in my opinion, with the rest of the subs, especially if you're using room EQ. It's going to lead to problems because it's so much closer. That's one. But the other thing is it's firing through your seat, which when your measurement mic is reading that, it's going to try and calibrate for that, and it's going to create problems. I would not ever present near field to my room EQ. Now, the MadVR Experience Center is a little bit of an enigma because the 64, though it's technically a near field, is sitting in the back wall with the 21. So it doesn't actually get presented to the near field because of infrasonic stuff limitations. So it doesn't either. So I can't say that. Don't present near fields or transducers to room EQ. You're going to be in for bad time. Add them later. So I would go back and do that, Vaughn Williams. Oprah Winfrey, I went from 2 V2 to per listen D15. Big difference. The D15 digs deeper, louder, and sounds better. By the V2, you mean 2V? Because that confused me too. The Arundels, something. Well, it's a bigger driver. The D15 is. It's a more expensive sub than the 2V. So it depends on what you're after. I don't think necessarily anything's wrong with the Arundel, but it's 13, almost 14-inch drivers. So I would pick something else over that. It's dual posed, and I guess for the price point, it's not bad. But in all honesty, I'd rather have something like um, Ascendo makes a 18-inch vented that is truly a mid-bass monster. It will not do down low. It rolls off pretty early. Couple that with something like a Behringer NX 6000, and you're at, if you get an NX 6000 on sale, you're at $2,500. The passive subs, but that thing, what does it do? Let me look that up. What does it do? That thing is truly a monster when it comes to mid bass. Let me look it up. That dynamo, though, no slouch, Christian. Shoot me a message. I'm not kidding. That thing is really good. Send me a message, especially at that price point with MSRP. It's worth it, at least to consider. But let's look at these subs. I got to look at the data for this 18-inch vented, which is here, and then measurements. So that sub, the 18-inch vented peak. How does this compete with the Arundel? $25 is $118. So peak, it's beating the Arundel. It'll do 120 at 25 hertz. And then it'll do, and this is at 1 meter half space. So, and then at 60 hertz, it'll do 130. And what is the Arundel doing? Arundel's doing 127. So the Ascendo is beating the Arundel for $1,000 less. Now you are compromising on aesthetic, so remember that. And it is a passive sub, so you would have to get an amplifier. What am I doing? What is happening? Not QR codes, captions. Turn that off. Okay. You've been waiting for the Behringer sale? It's a good sale. They're good. They're great amplifiers for the money. Are they the best amplifiers on the market? Absolutely not. But for the money, they're great. I used a stack of the A800s to run my Martin Logan Theater before I went to Buckeyes, and they did really, really well. Really well. So if you're in need of some entry level amplification. I can't even really call it entry level because of what they deliver for the money. I don't know that you can beat it. It's not the cleanest power, but depending on the application, does that matter? Especially for subwoofers or speakers that are not horrifically sensitive. I don't know. Depends on the person. The 800's fantastic. All of their NX series are great. Just depends on what you're trying to do. So, yeah, if you're waiting on that sale, keep waiting. It should happen. Never know now. They may never bring that back. Like the 12-inch Best Buy sale, that's probably long gone. That'll never come back. Granted, Brian Feller's probably bought all of them. He's got that wall with 80 of them. His poor neighbors. His poor neighbors. Poor neighbors. Any other questions? If not, we're going to wrap this up. Been 40 minutes, which isn't bad. I just don't want to sit here and stare at my ugly reflection in the camera. Not fun. What else would I do? I'm going back to Christian's topic. What else would I do? Shoe, maybe. I don't think Shoe's going to have the aesthetic that somebody like Martin Logan will have. And the Martin Logan's quite small for its size. SVS, maybe. But SVS has gotten really expensive for what it is. And they're big. They're ported. Well, I get they have sealed designs, but the SVS are big. So I still think, especially with that 20% off, I still think I'd do the Martin Logan. Rhythmic? Maybe. Could be a good one. Probably still partial to Martin Logan. Okay. Well, we'll wrap it up here then. Hopefully everybody's having a good recovery after Halloween. But I am really going to work on that spreadsheet, and I need to figure out a way to get the dang bot in here, because can somebody type exclamation point sales in chat? Just, I want to see if it works. If I do it, does it work? Let's see. Exclamation point sales. That did not work. Bot, why are you not working? You're supposed to respond to that, and you didn't. You should be typing in chat right now, and you're not. Why are you not? Oh, it worked! Yay! It did it! Can you guys see Streamlabs? It just took forever to do. Unless chat's super delayed. I think that worked. Can you guys click on that link? Do you see the link? So Goddard, the PSA 16 or PSA 18, I'm not saying it's a bad sub. Christian specifically, though, needs aesthetic. He needs a good-looking box. And I don't think the PSA is going to deliver that. It works. All right. It's just slow. So the bot is working. Fantastic. So now, when we get this going, guys, if you want to check the sales spreadsheet, you can just type sales, and I'll have other commands in there where, let me see if this one works. Does this one give you the other commands? I don't think it will, but and you can get information back from the bot. This is coming from my pro streaming days on Twitch, where you could interact with the bot, and common questions you would just ask the chat bot and it would respond to you. It doesn't look like exclamation point helped at all. So, okay. Well, if anybody needs anything, has any questions, don't hesitate to reach out. I am not pushy, and I just want you to have a good experience. Don't we all need good looking box? No comment. No comment. But if you need anything, don't hesitate to reach out. I'm happy to help. I try and give you the best price possible. If there is something that you're needing, if you've got a better price, let me know, and I'll try to beat it. And if you're not looking to buy anything, I am also happy to help you answer questions. But again, we're going to wrap this up. Hopefully everybody had a good Halloween, didn't eat too much candy, and we will be back. I think I'm streaming with Jonathan Monday evening. We're going to look at the LS 9000 on Monday night. We're going to stream it. I'm excited to see that. I have no idea what I'm walking into. No idea what that projector is going to be capable of. We're going to put it right up against an LS 12,000, a QL 3000, and an NZ 500. So it's going to be going up against a lot of the things that it needs to be going up against. So hopefully we'll have some good information for everybody during that stream on Monday evening. I think we'll be starting around 5 or 6. Oh, I got the hiccups around that time. But have a great weekend, ladies and gentlemen. And I think we'll see you on Monday for that LS 9000 stream. Stay safe, enjoy your home theater journey, and see you later.